Liverpool are a club in crisis, currently 8th in the Premier League, 19 points off top spot. They've just lost 5-2 to Real Madrid after being 2-0 up. So how do you fix Liverpool? In this video, we're going to find out how you fix the Reds and what you need to do in order to restore them to their former glory. Now, the first step to restore them to this former glory is to sort out the situation with FSG. Early on in the season, they said that they were looking for investment, possibly a sale. Now they've come out and said that they do not want a sale, but they still want some investment. Is that possibly a minority stake in the club? I'm not too sure. However, it's clear that FSG do need some help in the running of Liverpool Football Club. So they need to get that sorted out ASAP. It will be a big step for Liverpool to try and get this FSG situation sorted out, but they need to do it in order to improve upon where they are at the moment. The second step is to keep Klopp. I know there's a lot going on at the moment, and I know Klopp does have this sort of 8-season crisis thing that he went through at Dortmund, and it seems like he's going through it again. You stick with him and you give him another season. You do not sack Jurgen Klopp. That is a mistake, because who is out there to replace him? Thomas Tuchel? Is that really who you want to be going out to get to replace Klopp with? I really don't think it is. So you want to stick with Klopp. You stick with Klopp until the end of the season. Maybe even give him the summer, and then give him next season. See what he does. If then it's not working, then you can maybe look to move him on. But you do stick with Klopp. That is the best decision. And any Liverpool fans saying Klopp out, it's a mistake. Do I think he will stay? I think we'll have to wait and see. But any Liverpool fans saying Klopp out, it's a mistake. The third step is to let the lads who want to leave. You've got a lot of players out of contract this summer. Firmino, Keita, I think the Ox is one of them as well. I think Milner's one of them. Obviously, you've got Arteta from his loan, which really hasn't worked out, so he's clearly going to be going back to Juventus. I would let most of the players out of contract leave. I know Firmino is an excellent player, but his time's up at Liverpool. Do you want to give him a new long contract? Probably not. People like Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita, injury-prone midfielders who you need to move out so you can bring in this next group of midfielders, which we'll move on to in a second. There are some players who aren't out of contract, though, who need to move on. And I'm looking at people like Nat Phillips, who just is not playing, and Joe Gomez. Watching Joe Gomez in the UCL last night against Real Madrid, he was awful. He was absolutely awful. It's time to move him on because he simply isn't a good enough player. He's the level of maybe Aston Villa or West Ham maybe at the moment. Some lower mid-table side. Wolves. He's not good enough for Liverpool. He's just not. And I think they do need to bring in a centre-back. Not a starter, at the moment at least. You've got Van Dijk, you've got Matip, who again has fallen off quite drastically recently. I'd give him a little bit longer, because he doesn't have as much, resale value as Gomez does. Konate, another one who is there at the club. But I think it's time to move Joe Gomez on, because he's just not good enough. And he was absolutely shocking last night. He was torn to pieces by Vinicius Junior and Benzema. I'm not going to say that this person needs to leave, but he needs to flip and sort himself out. It's Mo Salah. Mo Salah has been awful this season. Not been performing. After signing that new bumper deal worth £400,000 a week, which is Liverpool's highest ever paid player, I said they shouldn't do it. I said it was going to be a mistake because I knew what was going to happen. We saw this at Arsenal with... was it Arsenal? What happened? Aubameyang, of course. Aubameyang Arsenal signed that new long deal and he just stopped performing. Salah looks like he's done the same here. He needs to sort himself out. He needs to sort himself out quickly. I would bring in some competition for the right wing this summer. We're going to touch on that in a second, as I say. I would bring in some competition for the right wing this summer, though, because Salah just has not been performing. And moving on to the incomings that they need to do this summer. I've got 4 players written down here that I think they should go out and get. I've got a centre-back, I've got a right winger, and I've got 2 centre-mids. I think 2 centre-mids is needed. You've got Bajcetic, I think it's pronounced. You've got Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago. Those are the only 4 really good midfielders you should be relying on. I know you've got people like Elliott and Jones around, but they don't seem to be performing. If anything, I'd possibly even look to loan, or maybe even, I don't want to say, I wouldn't sell Elliott. Maybe look at getting Elliott a loan lower down in the Prem. Jones, if you could get a bid of 20-25 million this summer, you move him on. Because again, you know, he hasn't lived up to that potential we were all expecting him to. Players to come in though. I'll start off with the main one that everybody's talking about, and I think they should do it if they can, and that is Jude Bellingham. Now, Jude Bellingham is an excellent player. We all know how good he is. Can Liverpool get it done though? It's going to be an expensive deal, and that's why if they can't do it for something around 120, I would not go out and do it, because they need players this summer. If they're going to get Bellingham and the three other players that I've said, you know, it could be, you know, 250 odd million, and I don't think FSG will spend that. In fact, FSG will not spend that. So if it's going to be the case of Bellingham or 3 or 4 players worth the amount of Bellingham, don't get Bellingham. Other options to Bellingham, possibly somebody like a Moises Caicedo. I think he would fit really well in Klopp's system. If you want to go cheaper, somebody like Kakare or Aouar's even going to be available on a free transfer, so that could be something as a really cheap deal if you want to get that done. The other midfielder I've said that they should get alongside Bellingham though is James Ward-Prowse. By the looks of it, Southampton are going to be going down. Maybe if they do go down, we'll say if Southampton do go down, go and get James Ward-Prowse. Because he won't want to play in the Championship. James Ward-Prowse is far too good to play in the Championship. And he would be an excellent addition to this Liverpool side. A really, really good addition into that midfield. He can obviously take set pieces. If Trent's not in the side, he could definitely take set pieces for them. And I think he would just be an excellent, excellent option for them to bring in. For fairly cheap as well. 25 million, maybe 20 million coming from, if obviously Southampton go down, coming from the Championship, he would be an excellent option. I said they need a right winger. The right winger I've gone for has been a guy that's gone through a hell of a time at Barcelona. He went there from Borussia Dortmund, you need to remember. Had a lot of injuries, but under Xavi he's really picked it up. He signed a new contract until the summer of 2024. Last summer I think it was, which means he's only got 18 months left at the moment. Well, not even that. In the summer he'll have 12 months left, which means he's going to be available on the cheap. 30-35 million you could probably get Ousmane Dembele for, and I think he would be an excellent option to push Salah as far as he can go. If you did bring in somebody like Dembele, you'd have Salah and Dembele as options on the right, you'd have Nunez as an option to the middle as well as Jota, and then you would have Gakpo and Diaz as options on the left. That would be a scary front six that you could pick from. I know Nunez recently has been playing right on the left, and I know also Jota likes playing out on the left as well. You've got a lot of left-handed sided players, and I get that. So if you could maybe move one on and bring in a proper striker, an Osimhen maybe, Jonathan David, then that would be excellent. But I don't think they probably can. So I would just look to get Ousmane Dembele, and I think that would be an excellent addition to this Liverpool side. And then last but not least, a centre-back. I've gone for Hincapié from Bayer Leverkusen. Looked really good in the World Cup, and I think he's a really good player. I genuinely really like him. Left-footed as well, which always helps. He wouldn't come in as a starter. 40 million maybe he'd cost. He'd be one of those players that Chelsea just seem to bring in every single time. Obviously Liverpool don't do that, so they need to get it right when they do bring in these players. But I think Hincapié would be an excellent option if they could bring him in. Right. That is the video done, but before we do run off the video, I do just want to discuss about what is going on your screen at the moment. Face cams. I will bring them in from time to time. I'm not going to do this all the time. I know I need to sort out the lighting. I know there's bad lighting over there. Forgive me. But I will do this from time to time. For the main podcast, it will just stick to that basic screen as well as there's videos coming from the podcasts. I don't want to be getting guests to record podcasts, to record, themselves recording a podcast. That's a lot of work. For solo videos, at times, yes, I will do a face cam. That's fine. At times, I probably also won't. But you'll see it from time to time. So I hope you enjoy seeing me. Face reveal as well. So, for 108 subscribers, there's a face reveal. Not doing it for that. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to smash that like button, comment down below, and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you all again in the next video. See ya!